So like many of you, I grew up with parents who knew God really well. And so they were really keen to tell me about God as I grew up. So me and my three brothers, we got the works. Christian school, church every Sunday, sometimes even twice on a Sunday, morning and evening. We had prayer before bed, grace before meals. The God stuff was just as normal for me growing up as the sky is blue and grass is green. At that stage, we lived in Melbourne, and my family moved to Sydney when I was 6. And when we moved to Sydney, we started going to a new church. And the first week at this new church, at the end of kids' church, they asked all of the kids if we wanted to pray a special prayer, and that special prayer would make us a Christian. So I thought to myself, well, my parents are Christians. It seems to be working out for them. Maybe I should be a Christian too. So they asked, do we want to pray the prayer? And I put my hand up. And I prayed that prayer. Said, sorry, God, for my sin. Thanks for Jesus. Please help me to live for you. And it felt like a big moment for me. I went home that day and I thought to myself, this week, I'm going to be perfect for God. I'm going to do everything that he wants me to do. I'm going to honor my parents. I won't swear. I won't bash up my brothers. I'll be nice to people. Whatever it takes. I'll brush my teeth. Whatever it takes. I'm going to be this week. I'm going to be perfect for God. And you can guess how long that lasted. About 5 seconds, probably. Maybe not even 5 seconds. And so next week, church rolled around again. And like I said, we went every week. And we went to church next week. And they asked again if we wanted to become a Christian, if we wanted to pray this special prayer and become a Christian. And when they asked it the second time, I thought to myself, I know I've already prayed this prayer, but I stuffed up a fair bit in this last week. But I'm going to pray this prayer again. And this time, I'm going to get it right. And I prayed the prayer again, and then you can guess that probably 5 seconds later, I was already not getting it right. And I'll be honest with you, this pattern, it continued for so much of my childhood and into my teen years. Anytime I was given a chance to pray the sinner's prayer, I took it. Because I saw it as a chance to show God that I could do it. I could get my act together. I could be pleasing to God. I think I must have prayed that prayer like 100 times or more. And what I realize now, looking back, is that I thought that the way that Christianity works is that I had to clean up my act. I had to get my life sorted for God to love me. I thought I had to do the right thing, and then God would accept me. So every time that I prayed that prayer, it was like I was making a promise to God that I would try better. But then I would inevitably fail. And so the next week I would make that promise to God that I would try better. But then I would inevitably fail. And it wasn't until I was about 16 years old that I learned something that I'd already known about God, but I hadn't really understood before. And that is this thing called grace. Grace, it's not just something that you pray before you eat a meal. It's not just a person in your grade at school called grace. Grace is actually a word that means a gift. And we talk about grace because we say God has given us his grace, which means that he has given us the free gift of his love to all of us. It's not something that we have to earn. Grace is a free gift from God that we don't have to earn. It's given to us. What I realized was that God had actually made a promise to love me, not that I needed to make a promise to love him. There's this really cool story in the Gospels. One day Jesus was hanging out with some people, sinners, it tells us, tax collectors. And the Pharisees came and asked him why he ate and hung out with sinful people. Jesus said something that makes a whole bunch of sense that I didn't understand when I was a kid. He says, it's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. Jesus said, I haven't come to call the righteous, but sinners. And that was actually what I realized when I was 16 years old. God wasn't waiting for me to get my act together before he loved me. God already loved me. Jesus came into the world to hang out with sinners and stuff-ups, people like me. So when I was 16, I stopped making those promises to God that I would be better. Instead, I accepted his free gift of love, even though I wasn't worthy of it. And the funny thing is that my life changed drastically because of it. Once I accepted that free gift, a lot of the bad habits that I'd had beforehand, I didn't want to do them anymore. Because I wanted to please God. He loved me so much, I wanted to please him. So that's my Jesus story. Well, that's some of my Jesus story. I hope it helps you to think about whether you have accepted God's free gift of love.